All right, so we'll go through these. So right away, what you're seeing, and so I can hear you guys too. I mean, I've got my headphones on, but I can hear you. So the first thing we're looking at is an integumentary system. Again, that includes the hair, skin, and nails. Um, so that's what we're looking at right now. So we're gonna go to preset one though. So I will bring you to preset number one. All right, so now we're looking at the skeletal system, so you can see the bones and the joints. Um, so I loaded preset one for you. So explore the structures of the skeletal system by tapping on them to identify them, and circle the name or select the name of the large bone in the thigh. So somebody want to go for that one, the large bone in the thigh, and this should be review. So that big bone there, what is that? That's the femur. And what's the lower leg bone down here? That's the tibia. And then what's the lateral bone in the lower leg here? Somebody said the fibula. That's correct. Yep. All right. So just looking at our bones, just a little bit of review. And it says, what is the name of the bone that is found on the lateral or the thumb side of the forearm? So what is the more lateral forearm bone? What's that? The radius. The radius is correct. So thumb side. So notice the cadaver is not in anatomical position. So they're like this. They're more turned in. Their thumbs are more medial. But if you put them back in anatomical position, this here you can see this is the radius. So here's the thumb right here. Oops, oops. All right there. You can see the thumb is on the medial, or excuse me, it should be on the lateral side, but the person's not in anatomical position. But you just have to picture them back in anatomical position. So on the thumb side, the more lateral bone of the forearm is the radius. And then what's the more medial bone of the ulna? You got it. That would be the pinky side forearm bone. All right, so that was just taking a look at the skeletal system here. We got to look at um, all the bones, got to be able to identify all the bones and some of the bone features on these bones this semester. So let's go to the next one, and we will look at the muscular system. So here you can see the muscular system. So here I loaded up the muscular system. So we can remove things. We can remove layers. So I'll take away. Let's go here and this. Let's remove this muscle right here, pectoralis major. So then you can see pectoralis minor underneath there. Let's get out of that and let's not take away any more of those. Um, so you can observe the different layers. I guess I can take away, let's take away right here. All right, there we go. So let's get rid of that so we're not taking. So there's the external oblique. On the left, we have the internal oblique. On the right, we remove the external oblique on the right. Here's pectoralis major. Then there's pectoralis minor right there. And then remember below that, we have serratus anterior coming across serrated edges of the knife. Okay, but we have some questions here. So use one finger to rotate the body to view the back. All right, so we'll do that, flip it around here. So looking at the back now, what is the name of the large triangular shaped muscle in the neck? Yep, trapezius is correct. So there's your trapezius muscle, right and left there. How are you guys doing? Following along online? Working well? Good. All right, now we're gonna go to the cardiovascular system. So let's check that out. So that'd be preset number 3. All right, so here we can see the cardiovascular system. We, of course, covered that this semester. You can see all the heart and all the blood vessels. We can see the arteries and veins. So let's take a look so tap on the cardiovascular tool and the blood flow tool. So let's take a look at that. Let's this one right here. And then we will do the blood flow tool here. So now let's go so tap on any vessel, whichever one you want. Just go for one. Yeah, see. All right, so as you can see there, you've just selected what? An artery or vein? Vein, because veins are going to bring blood back to the heart. And if you click on an artery, and let me try doing that. All right, so there you can see arteries go away and the blood's going away from the heart. Um, so when you tap on a vein, does the blood flow towards or away from the heart? Yep, towards, as you said. What color are most but not all arteries? Red, yep. Remember where was our exception? What arteries would be blue? Yep, yeah, yep. They would be blue because they're deoxygenated blood. They're carrying deoxygenated blood. Remember those pulmonary arteries? We have the pulmonary trunk, and then the pulmonary arteries go to. Yep, right there. You can see them right here. Here's the pulmonary arteries right here, going to the lungs. So arteries away, but these ones actually happen to be carrying deoxygenated blood because they're going uh because they're going away from the heart to the lungs to pick up oxygen. What does this color imply? So again, you said, if it's red, there's a lot of oxygen in it. If it's blue, it's oxygen poor. So if it has um, a bunch of oxygen in it, then it's going to be red, labeled red. All right, so there's cardiovascular system. We got to study that this semester. Let's go to number four. Number four, looking at the digestive system. So take turns tapping on structures until the stomach is identified. Somebody go for the stomach. Yep, you got it right there. There's the stomach. Um, is the stomach located on the right or left side of the human body? So it's tricky here because we were actually looking in the prone position. We were looking posterior. Somebody said left. Yeah, it is the left. But it looked like the right because we were actually looking at it from the posterior view here. So I don't know why it starts out that way, just maybe to trick you. So yeah, the stomach is on the left side of the body. Remember what's on the right. So if you remember the stomach's on the left, then this big thing right here, what is this big thing? That's the liver. That's going to be on the right. Okay. All right. And here you can see the digestive system. We can see the GI tract. Wasn't long ago we were studying that. You can see the salivary glands up in the head here. And then you can see right here the esophagus. It's not showing the pharynx, and of course the oral cavity is hidden as well. There's the stomach, then we have the small intestine, large intestine, um, and then we have all these accessory structures too. There's the liver. Here's the gallbladder. Whoa, that's a big gallbladder right there. So that's a large one. But there's liver. Again, the gallbladder right there. The appendix. Whoops. Maybe I can. Yep, there it is right there, the appendix. All right, so now we're going to switch over and let's take a look at the urinary system. So the urinary system is preset number 5. Did I hit the wrong one? Or maybe does it want me to? Oh yeah, so move the slider bar to peel away the layers until only the urinary system and skeletal system remain. So, oh yeah, you're right. All right, there we go. Yep, we peeled back the layers. Now we're only looking at the urinary system here. So we did that. Rotate the body using one finger touch to view the kidneys. So where are the kidneys? Yep. So there. So there are the kidneys here, and we're looking at that posterior view here. So right in the back here. Okay. Are the kidneys located in the front or posterior section of the body? You said posterior, which is correct. Name the structures that carry urine from the kidneys to the urinary bladder. So up here we have the kidneys, and then if we look down here, we have the bladder. So the kidneys are up here, and then we have the bladder down here. So the kidneys are going to create the urine, and then remember the bladder is going to store the urine. So the ureters, yep, the ureters are going to, if I can select them, the ureters are going to bring the urine to the urinary bladder where it's going to be stored. All right, let's take a look. And then from the urinary bladder, then we have the urethra um, to complete the pathway out of the body. Number 6, let's look at number 6, preset number 6. This is the respiratory system. So again, what is the function of the respiratory system? Well, bringing oxygen, oxygenating our blood, bring oxygen into our body, and then also getting rid of CO2, getting CO2 out of our body. Okay, so explore the structures of the respiratory system by tapping on them to identify them. So here you can see we've got our lungs. Um, Here you can see there's the trachea. Remember, we have our primary bronchi and then secondary bronchi and then tertiary bronchi, making up that bronchial tree. Here's the larynx. Well, the larynx, this whole area here. Select it. So larynx right there. I actually happened to select the epiglottis right there. And the epiglottis is going to do what for us? Well, how does the epiglottis help us? Yep. So the food goes into the esophagus instead of the trachea. Yep. Yep. All right. You got it. Um, so that you can see going up into the pharynx, which is the throat, and we have the nasal pharynx. And then those things right there, those are the nasal sinuses. Let's see what else did we. Okay, so we looked at the sinuses. So within some bones of the skull are hollow air-filled cavities. What are these called? Those are sinuses. Name the large dome-shaped muscle that sits inferior to the lungs and is the primary muscle of inspiration. So this one right here, the diaphragm muscle, is again, when we breathe in, the diaphragm muscle contracts down, expanding the thoracic cavity. And when that expands the thoracic cavity, that decreases it increases the volume, decreasing the pressure, and then air wants to go into our lungs. And then when the diaphragm relaxes, the muscle actually comes up and decreases the volume of the thoracic cavity, therefore increasing the pressure, and that's how we get air to be exhaled out. All right, so we'll do the Explorer tool, remove the lobes of the right lung, then turn on the removal. Okay, so the right lung, it says. So let's get rid of the lobes of the right lung. All right, and then again, remember we have two lobes. The left lung has two lobes. The right lung has three lobes, and we can remember that by the heart's more on the left, so we only have room for two lobes on the left. Just kind of a little way you can remember that. Okay, so we remove the right lung, and then okay, we got to turn this off, otherwise we'll start getting rid of more stuff. So we have here's the trachea here, and then the first branch off of the trachea here is the primary bronchus. And we can let's just color that. Let's just make that. And we've done this before. I remember we did that. Then the next branch here would be the secondary bronchi. Let's just color that too. Let's not red though, hopefully. Let's go with blue. So there's our secondary bronchi. And then we have our tertiary bronchi. And we can color those yellow. Let's just go with yellow. Maybe. There we go. So there you can see our primary, secondary, and tertiary bronchi there. So the three bronchi are named. First we have primary, then we have secondary, then we have tertiary. All right, let's go to the nervous system. So that would be preset number 7. All right, so looking at our nervous system, we can divide it into two parts structurally. We have the central nervous system, which is the brain and the spinal cord, and then everything else is the peripheral nervous system. So all the spinal nerves, the cranial nerves, those are part of the peripheral nervous system. So let's take a look here. So the lobes of the cerebrum are the right and left. What are our lobes? What lobes do we have? And I wonder if we can Oh yeah, we can just click on them here. But what are the lobes of our cerebrum or our cerebral hemispheres? Yep. Yep. We have the frontal, and then here's the occipital back here. Let me see if I can. Yep. Yep. Parietal, and then temporal right here. So frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital lobe. Those are the lobes of the brain. So frontal, occipital, parietal, and temporal lobes. The let's put this back into person back into position here. The large nerve that runs down the posterior thigh is what? So, yep, sciatic nerve, giving people sciatica right here. Let's see if I can select it. Come on, right there. There's a sciatic nerve right there. All right, how are you guys doing? I'm not going too fast, am I? We're good. All right, let's go to the endocrine system. So that would be preset number 8. You guys are doing well? Cool. All right, cool. Pace is good. Okay, respit. Well, no, we're not going to the respiratory. We're going to the endocrine system. So this is preset number 8. This should be the endocrine system, and that's what we have showing up here. So looking at the endocrine system, so thinking back to all of our hormones, it says so explore the butterfly shaped gland near the throat. What is that? Yep, the thyroid gland. So here you can see the thyroid gland right here. So now we're looking from the anterior view, but there you can see the thyroid gland. The two glands in the abdomen that sit on top of each kidney are the adrenal glands. So the gnome hats or the little hats on top of the kidneys, those are the adrenal glands, also known as the suprarenal glands. Um, yeah. What else? Well, remember the pancreas. So here's the pancreas right here. What is the function of the pancreas endocrine wise? Blood sugar. Think about blood sugar. Yep. And you have the two antagonists, glucagon and insulin. Yep. Those two go against each other. Yep. They go against each other. And then we have the gonads down here, and this cadaver happens to be a male. So then we have the male gonads, which are the testes. Um, All right. So let's go to preset number 9. That would be the lymphatic system. So let's take a look at the lymphatic system. Look, we can see all these little bumps, and these little bumps are what? Well, you can click on one of them. See what? Yeah, these are all lymph nodes. Yep. In different areas of the body. So we did that. So explore the structures of the lymphatic system by tapping and identify them. The large lymphatic organ on the left side of the body. What is that one? Yeah, go for it. That is the spleen. And I think that's the last question I have for you, right? Oh, then we go to reproductive. Yeah. All right. Let's go to preset number 10. And we are going to take a look at the reproductive system. And this cadaver happens to be male. So we have the male reproductive system pulled up here. Um, So we have both the male reproductive system and urinary system pulled up here as well. Explore the structures of the reproductive system by tapping on them to identify them. Uh, so here you can see, here's the testes. The testes are going to be in here. And then let me see if I can select this, not the femur. Well, the femur's in the way. Yeah, I'm trying to get the vas deferens. So that's that structure that comes up and around right here. Let's go from a different angle here. Let's go back here. Maybe. Yeah, that one's hard. I don't know why. There's the ureter. And maybe if we like zoom in. There we go. The vas deferens. We got it. Let's make that a different color so that we can highlight it. There we go. So there you can see the vas deferens. Again, how do the sperm cells, how are they going to get from the testes all the way up to into the urethra? Well, we have the vas deferens, and then that is going to drain into the ejaculatory duct and then into the prostatic urethra. So here's actually the urinary bladder. Here's the prostate. So that's here. This is where. So as you can see, the vas deferens, which we kept highlighted in red here, that's going to drain into the prostatic urethra via the ejaculatory duct. And then we have these right here, these structures, they're called the seminal vesicles. They're going to also drain their secretions into the prostatic urethra as well. Then from there, we have the membranous urethra, and then we have the spongy or penile urethra. And I can't select that, but um, well, this is a corpus spongiosum, which the urethra, the male urethra, the spongy or the penile urethra travels through. So we can't, like, I can't locate out the urethra from there. But that gives us a couple questions here. So name the tubes that carry sperm from the testes to the urethra. That would be the vas deferens, as we said. Then the highlighted reproductive gland located directly below the urinary bladder is so that would be the prostate. So there's a prostate. We're going to highlight that. We'll change the color. We'll make it red too. So there's a prostate gland. All right, and that is our activity.